Hey y'all, it's Megan and Andy. Welcome back to the channel today. So here it is, going on about 11 o'clock at night.
Yes.
On Thursday.
It's bedtime.
I had a video. We had a vlog made for tomorrow, but that'll be coming out on Monday. We just kind of felt the need to talk about a little bit what's going on in Western North Carolina. So I'm sure most of y'all have heard by now.
Yeah, you know what's going on.
The terrible situation they are in there. So here for us, the way the crow flies, that is not far from us, but by the road, winding through the mountains, the furthest out area that really got flooded is about 2 hours away. Yep. So actually, tonight we visited that area, or this evening, and
we took a load of supplies up.
Yeah.
We done a little collection right here in our local community, and took up, well, I'll have to say, I want to give a big thank you to everybody that's around here that you might, if you're watching or if you ain't watching, thank you for donating everything that you did, because I'm pretty proud of what we got together and was able to take up there.
Absolutely.
It was a right nice collection of much needed supplies up there.
But I know, if y'all been around for any amount of time, we don't normally do videos like this. We don't talk a lot about current events. We definitely don't talk about politics. We try to stay pretty positive here on the channel and in life in general, just because there's enough negativity in the world as it is,
And even if we have negativity going on in our life, we don't show it on the channel, because we don't want to spread negativity. Because we're all about keeping things cheerful and joyful. Joyful.
Come on now, it's late.
It's late. I can't talk. But we like to highlight the good things in life, and not talk about the bad situations. But y'all,
boy, it's been weighing on us though.
This one's something that we can't avoid not talking about.
Yeah.
And so, you're not going to see the kids in it. You're not going to see us out here doing anything like that. We're just going to sit here and talk about what we have experienced so far. Because, being that far away, we're just like the rest of the world. We're seeing it on our phones. We're seeing videos. We're seeing pictures and everything else. But we haven't been there and actually seen it in person until tonight. And we wasn't even in the hardest hit areas. We were... Now, don't get me wrong.
It was still
awful.
Yeah.
I mean, just to give you a little tidbit, like we saw
houses that had been washed.
Yeah, pieces of houses laying in people's yards because they were washed down the river. Roads are awful where we went.
Grass and blankets and just trash up in the treetops.
It was
very surreal.
It was very, yeah, surreal to say the least. You felt like you were driving through the remnants of what would have been left after a horror movie or something. I mean, it was very...
I'm going to tell you what we did see, though, tonight.
We saw a lot of people coming together, helping we saw people from everywhere, all over, helping one another. We got to meet some really nice folks at the donation, what do you call that?
Where they drop off supplies.
Yeah, the drop-off hub, or whatever you want to call it. The one we went to was a privately owned deal. Long story short, there's a lot of fire departments and stuff that are quick, easy places to get to from here, and they're right off the main highways. I mean, it's a good problem to have.
It's a blessing, yeah.
But they're getting flooded with supplies, and so... Once we found out the fire department that we had already made arrangements with to bring our stuff to had gotten overloaded with more than what they could handle, we asked for recommendations on where to go. Well, we got in touch with a privately owned...
it was a privately owned business that agreed to open up to house supplies.
And they had volunteers in there that were helping sort everything, unload the trucks, and they had a very good collection of stuff. But there's one problem that comes from all of this. It wasn't easy for us to find this place.
No.
To know where to take the stuff to.
Pretty much social media and word of mouth.
Yes, and before I go any farther, that's something that's been a true blessing during all this. Social media is,
Blessing and a curse.
yeah, and if not for social media doing this whole thing, honestly, I think the whole world would think that
Asheville's the only place
Asheville's the only place that got hit. And
Asheville got hit hard.
Asheville did. Asheville probably got
Yeah.
hit harder than a lot of places.
Yeah.
But y'all, this thing spreads from the top. Well, as far as I know now, I could be wrong, but from what I know, the top side of South Carolina to the bottom southwest side of Virginia over into the eastern side of Tennessee.
Yeah, northeast Tennessee, western North Carolina.
And it's a mess. It's a tragedy that some of these towns may not even ever come out of. I don't know that some of the towns will ever rebuild. Some towns are completely gone.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing, absolutely nothing left. But back to my story of our donation thing here. It was hard for us to find where to take supplies to. And once we got up there, because you got to think, a lot of these places still don't have power. They don't have cell phone signal. They don't have none of this stuff. So they can't get the word out very easily that, hey, we need supplies over here. Because, y'all, it's literally a nightmare, and you can't just drive from one place to the other very easily.
Well, roads are gone. Bridges are gone. I mean, entire roads washed down a river.
So while
we
were there, we found out they were loading a truck up from this from the hub there. They were loading a truck up, sending it to another fire department, which basically, according to them, had no supplies, nothing. And so they had a big flatbed truck, and they were loading that thing down. And I liked seeing that. It made me feel good knowing that what we dropped off is most likely going to get put to use.
Yeah, and these were civilians. These were just your regular old people, just trying to help out.
Mm-hmm. And the people in there getting supplies while we were there. I mean, the place was packed with normal, everyday people, just getting something to get them through the night.
Yeah.
And I don't know, y'all. This one touches us hard here.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I don't know. It hits home.
Yep, close to home, and I don't know. We ain't. We've just been trying to figure out what else we can do.
Well, that's what bothers
to help. Because at this point, right now, help is being turned away in some places. Some places are inaccessible, and right now, to my understanding, it's still. They're not in recovery in this mission yet. It's still search and rescue, and I do think that's why a lot of the people are being turned away. Just, I guess, my point about this is, don't forget about them. Like the flood of help and everything's coming in now. But they're gonna need it for a long time.
Yeah, 2 weeks from I know some people's not going to, but then others, 2 weeks from now, who knows? There may be something else that's happened, and everybody's forgot about Western North Carolina.
Yeah.
And I don't see that happening in the near future, but y'all, help's going to be needed up there for a year or more. I mean, it's that bad. And
but I'm gonna tell you though, even as late as we were there tonight.
They were working.
The linemen, excavators. I mean, we saw people working everywhere.
Yeah, so
everywhere.
We came home a different way than what we went, and we had to turn around and come back out because linemen and stuff were working, and the road was blocked. We're not going to try to get in their way. We just turned around and come back out and went a different way. But I mean, the thing that bothers me the most is when we left this evening, we thought we knew we had a place to take this stuff. And then we found out it's full, which, like I said, that's not a problem. But the problem is we didn't know where to take it. And there's places up there now that are suffering bad, needing supplies. And how do you know where to take it to?
Because they have no communication.
Yeah.
And there are people up there that don't have water, they don't have food, and
Well, you can't drink. I mean, a lot of places are on city water. You can't drink the city water right now, or either the city water's down.
Or if you have a well, you gotta have power to get it,
Yeah, I
get your
mean,
pump running.
now I will say this, y'all. Being that you said that, that reminded me of that story I read on Facebook today, and this one brought a smile to my face. But I've seen so many bad stories come from up there, and this one was. So there's a lot of horseback riders and mule. They're packing teams of mules and horses and stuff, and taking supplies up in there to places they can't get to otherwise. And this particular guy, he come across an old lady's house, and from my understanding, she was living there by herself. And he knocked on the door, and she come to the door, and he's like, "Ma'am, I've got water, I've got food, I've got everything. You tell me what you need. I've got supplies out here in the packs on my horses." She said, "Honey, I'm good. I don't need anything." He said, "Ma'am, you've been up here now for like however long it's been, 5 days, 4 days, without any power." And he said, "I know you need something." She said, "Well, I've got a little spring back behind the house, and I can get my water out of that. I'm having to walk back there, but I can get my water." She said, "You just take that water on to somebody else who really needs it." And she said, "Well, what about the food?" He said, "You got to eat." And she said, "Honey, I actually just got done cooking dinner. If you would you like to come in and join me and eat with me?" And that brought a smile to my face. And she was an older lady it sounded like from the post. And the mountain people, they can survive. A lot of them can, but there's a lot of them up there that need help bad. I mean, that was she was one of the fortunate ones that still had her house. She still had all the everything that she had. She was just cut off. Her road,
Right.
from my understanding, was washed out. You couldn't get up the mountain to get to her house. But y'all, there's people who lost everything. I mean everything.
And I don't know that the media depicts it as to what it is.
It's not just a small group of people.
It's not just all these pictures you see and stuff. It's not just one. I guess that's what I want everybody to realize. It's not just one town. That's at least probably 200 miles, if not
it's
more
from,
than that.
like I said, it's from South Carolina to Southwest Virginia, and like I said, over to Tennessee, and there's places in there that were towns that are nothing now. And when I say nothing, I mean there's nothing left.
Yeah. And now we haven't been in those places.
No.
We see the pictures and stuff just like probably most of you do.
But we've heard it from other people.
But we've heard it from people that are there.
Yeah.
That we've actually talked to. And like Andy said, it just really touches home. And I guess, even though we don't know those people, you feel connected to those people. We do. Because it's just like us. Our families have been on this land, in this general vicinity, both of our families.
For generations.
For many generations, yeah. In the general vicinity. And, this is home. Roots run very, very deep for us here. And I feel like a lot of those people up there that lost it, they lost more than just the house. They lost their home. And
we lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen a lot of videos like, well, why didn't they just evacuate? Why didn't they leave? And well, first off, the scale of the area that this thing covered. I mean, it's not easy to evacuate from. And not only that,
they wasn't expecting it to be what it was.
Yeah, it was not predicted. Yes, they were predicted to get a lot of rain, but it was not predicted that they get the rain they got. I think that's part of the problem is everything when it started flooded so fast.
That's what, yeah.
That it just wiped everything out because people were actually in their houses when their house got washed down the rivers. True. And that's, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
But, like I said, we're not coming on here for doom and gloom. We just want to make sure people are aware of the situation.
It's huge.
And just, if just pray for those people. And if you feel led in your heart to make a monetary donation, I'll be sure to leave some links down in the description. I've been looking into these people that are going in there and trying to find like reliable places to donate money to, that the money's actually going to get used for the people. So I'll, like I said, I'll leave those. Or if you're close by and figure out a way to volunteer. We talked to a guy up there too that said, something a lot of people ain't thinking about is there's a lot of fences to be rebuilt up there.
You got a lot of livestock to be taken care of.
Yeah, it was a lot of livestock to be taken care of. Everybody's fences got washed away. Of course, I realize that's not right now. They're not doing that. They're focusing on saving people right now. But in the weeks to come,
there's a lot of work.
When they go to rebuild, things like that. But I mean, we saw tree service companies. We saw people out of Kentucky. We saw, like I said, all these excavators and power companies, and we were up there late. Like, we were up there late, y'all. And
I mean, just from our area alone, we know of several people who have went up there to volunteer whatever they've got to volunteer. There's another group of people up here that's got a lot of horses, and they took them up there, and they're also doing the backpacking thing where they're running the horses up the mountain to get in because you can't get there. And
you can't get there any other way.
I mean, there's lots of people who, if it hadn't have been for just regular civilians with their helicopters coming in, they would have died. And I'm sure there's still a lot more that haven't been found that way, at least as of right now. And there's probably a lot of people right now that if they don't get help very soon, they're going to be unfortunate as well. And I hate, like I said, we don't like to make a video like this, but y'all, it's
the elephant in the room. We just need to talk about it.
People need to know that this is way bigger than what it looks like it is when you watch TV.
And it, like we said at the beginning, it's been weighing on us like majorly. I know you can't really tell from like the vlogs and stuff.
Well, a lot of those vlogs were filmed before we even knew how bad it was.
Before a lot of this information started coming out.
So when we made our video the other day and telling y'all that we were all right and stuff, I mean, we knew it was bad, but at that time we had no idea the scale of what has really went on up there. And I want to say that if you do decide, like if you're local and you decide to drive and make donations, it's best if you can somehow or another get something lined up.
Yeah, because they may turn you away. I've heard they're turning
some people away. I don't want to say anything that I probably shouldn't say, but I would avoid anything that has to do with FEMA because of some stuff we heard up there tonight. And I mean, we heard it from the mouth. I mean, I can only go off of what he says, but he's right there in the middle of it all, so I would expect he knows what's really going on. So I would stay away from that, even though FEMA's supposed to be here to help. Go for your private organizations, maybe your fire departments, churches, and just like this place was tonight, I mean, if it hadn't been for Facebook, we wouldn't have found it. And we saw firsthand it was actually helping people.
Yeah.
It was helping people who needed it. And
it was wonderful. It really...
And y'all, the other part that kind of made our night was, where we had already got in touch with the people at the fire department, I knew there was only just a few people at that fire department, so I told Megan, I said, let's stop by and grab a bunch of pizzas and we'll take it to them on our way. And so after I'd made a couple phone calls back to the fire department and found out that they were wanting us to go elsewhere, I was like, well, darn, what are we going to do with all these pizzas now? So we get there. When we get there, we pull up and we're like, holy cow at the people here. So I walk in, after they see what we've got to donate and all, I asked them, I'm like, I guess y'all will take this too. I was like, but we brought supper, I guess you would say. And we handed them some pizzas, and I'm going to tell you.
They was tickled to death. That was worth the drive up there.
And we're talking about the volunteers, and they were even asking, like, the lady in charge, she's like, now who are these for? Are these for somebody? And we're like, yeah, they're for y'all, like the volunteers. And she said, really? And their faces just lit up, and I'm gonna tell you, the poor people acted like they were starving to death when they went to eat. I'm sure they looked like they were flat give out, and I really wanted to stay and help, but it was getting so late we had to get back here. But I mean, in the days to come, y'all, if things seem a little short on our channel or whatever, know that not only have we got a lot going on right now, like we're trying our best to figure out ways that we can help up there too.
Yeah, we've been working. I mean, talking to people.
We're trying our best to make connections personally without going through organizations, because we want to make sure that whatever gets done, we see it actually helping people. Because, you know, sometimes you just can't always trust everything that you might send donations to or whatever.
So if, you know, if you're watching and you have personal connections with people in that area or know ways that people we can help.
Or if you know specific areas that need help that aren't getting the help they need. And there is a way to get in there, because I actually know of a few places that's not getting the help they need, but you can't physically get in there.
You can't get in there right now.
And I don't own a chopper. I wish I did, because I can tell you what, if I did, I'd be up there right now delivering stuff as hard as I could.
Yeah. But just, you know, be sure to shoot us an email. And if it's somewhere that we can get to, we'll try our best.
We will. I mean, I'm telling y'all, you know, there's been natural disasters for all through history. But I guess this one just hits home because it's right here in our back door. It's neighbors. It's people in our own state. And they're all just normal, everyday people. And they've...
Not to say that other people are
well, yeah, I know that. But
I'm just kidding.
There's a lot of people in need right now. A lot. And sadly, the death tolls that y'all have probably heard on Facebook or the news or whatever, y'all, I'm going to tell you, it's a lot more than what they're saying. And we've heard that from people who are up there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's bad. It's really bad. But so like I said, we're trying our best to make connections with people and find out things, because we know that not only is there people that's got to get taken care of, there's animals that people have got to get taken care of. There's a lot. I mean, but y'all, the support that Western North Carolina has gotten though from volunteers is unreal. I mean, I know the other story I wanted to share with y'all. When I got I can't even talk. Gosh, when I got in touch with the guy at the first fire department we were going to take donations to, he told me a story, because I asked him, I'm like, well, what about hay and livestock feed and stuff like that? And he said that there was a farmer right there next to him that lost 650 round bales down the river. They all washed away, every one of them. And a guy from Texas somehow got word of it. Like, this was not long after the storm happened. Somehow got word of it and started shipping hay up there to this guy, and is helping the fella rebuild his barns. And he's from Texas. And I mean, that's just one example of how somebody who has, you know, from that far away is helping. And I mean, I've heard stories all over of people just coming from everywhere. I mean, everywhere.
And when you listen to the news, you know, they want you to think this country's divided and it's so much turmoil and hate, and they spread hate. And when something like this happens, you really realize how united we are here in the United States. I mean, that's the way I feel about it.
Everybody was up there helping everybody. When we saw that tonight, I mean, there was people of all walks, of all classes, of everything up there at that place, and every one of them was working together, getting what needed to be done.
Yep.
And it was just simply amazing. It really was. So, you know, we're really glad we took that trip this evening and took those supplies up there. And y'all, we hope to get another load up there in the future. You know, like I said, we're doing the best we know how amongst mitigating our own lives and everything we've already got to do. We're trying to figure out how to do it all. And so, I don't know. But I'm telling y'all, this one bothered us big time. And before we get off here, if you or anybody you know personally needs help,
has connections
And-
that we can get in.
Yeah,
Because,
yes,
that's,
and has a way to get in,
that's
and
a big thing.
and is in a place where you're not going to get turned back by other people forcing people to leave from up there. Please send us an email. Don't leave it in the comments. Send us an email.
TrueGritAppalachianWays@gmail.com.
Because we know people who are just very anxious to help, and they're kind of in the same boat we are. They don't know exactly where they need to go, but they're ready to go.
Yeah.
And yeah, let us know, because we wanna do what we can here, even though I know we're just two people. You know. And it's a big place up there that's got to have help, but we can do what we can do.
And then that's another reason I wanted to make this video, to spread awareness. How much help is needed.
Yeah, there's a lot of help that still is needed. I don't care what you hear. People saying that they're good, they don't need help. Everywhere up there needs help.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everywhere.
If you can figure out how to get in.
You just got to figure out how to get in.
Yep.
And there's a lot of places where people are getting desperate, if you know what I mean. They've went without water and food for 3 or 4 days, however long now, and they're desperate.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say that if I was in their situation, I wouldn't be the same way. But just be aware of that.
Right.
But anyways, I guess that's enough of it.
But guys, anyways, we will see y'all on Monday, and be sure to stop by the Foothills Farm Festival and tell us hello if you're there. It'll be Saturday, October the 5th. That's this Saturday.
Starts at 8 and is over at 7.
I
But
think.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all, it don't always usually last till 7.
Yeah.
Usually everybody's done gone by then.
But Andy and I will be down at the field demonstration. So remember, if you come to the Foothills Farm Festival, please ride the tractor ride down to the cornfield. That's where you'll find us at. So.
And don't be surprised if there's a crowd there when you get there,
Yeah.
because it's usually a big event.
Yep.
And it usually attracts people from
all
all over.
places. Yep.
So,
But anyways, guys, till we see y'all on the next one.
y'all have a good one.
Have a good one.